I want to talk about the distractions we invest in over the course of the day. It's a lot of things that we distract ourselves with, whether it's video games, electronics, movies, TV shows, or just scrolling on social medias or iPhone games. Those things are purely distractions where we use that time to prevent us from being creative. That's what stuff like that does. Stuff like that prevents us from being creative, prevents us from delving into our creative sides, prevents us from investing in ourselves. Understand that stuff like that are distractions and they're addicting. That's why we just go on our phones and just start scrolling on social medias because we're addicted to it. We're addicted to that feeling of belonging, that feeling of people liking or feeling that of being connected. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with feeling connected. But understand that if you don't moderate your time usage when it comes to that kind of stuff, when it comes to video games, social media platforms, medias, TV shows, news, articles, if you're not taking the time to invest in yourself, because we use a lot of that time investing in things that will not better us. If we're not going to take the time to invest in ourselves, take the time to teach us something that will benefit us in the long run, we will continue to be who we don't want to be. We will continue to be the opposite of who we want to be. And then we end up blaming and having regrets. Understand that that is the first step of being creative. The first step of being who you want to be is limiting those distractions. People who are wealthy or people who are having business, who has businesses, who has organizations, they're not watching YouTube videos. They're not playing video games. They're using that time to invest in themselves, invest in their business. They're making profit off of their time. You don't profit off of video games or scrolling on social medias. All that does is stall. All that does is stall you and prevent you from being who you want to be. That is the bona fide truth, that we be on our phones and on video games way longer than we invest in ourselves. We use those as distractions to distract ourselves from who we could be. That's fear. We use stuff like that to prevent us from doing things we want to do. Where you're feeling bored, you're like, oh, I'm bored. I want to play some video games. Understand you can do that, but understand that you can use that time for things that'll benefit you. A lot more things that'll benefit you. Unless you're profiting off of that kind of stuff, unless you're profiting off of video games, off of scrolling on social media, unless you're profiting off of that type of stuff. Don't do it. Because understand, all that's doing is taking time away from you. Taking time away from you that you can use that time to really invest and learn about yourself. Because understand that video games, your phone, that will not go with you when you pass away. It will not. Understand your wisdom will. Wisdom and knowledge is eternal. That will never die. But if we insist on using that time, that we could invest ourselves with, and if we can just stop using our time to play video games and all that stuff, or not just video games, just anything in general that distracts us from investing in ourselves and knowing ourselves. If we take the time to really get to know ourselves and know ourselves, it'll make a great impact in our lives.